To be a successful development economist requires a depth of knowledge about economics and a depth of knowledge about the setting in which you're trying to either interpret and understand the economics of that place, or to see the economics in the interactions of individuals in that place. And to do both of those, so to know what deep economics is correct to be applying in a place, but also to know what to look for, there is no better way to practice that than to really immerse yourself in the environment of interest. Doing this at least once will give you a real appreciation of what to look for in other settings. And so this might mean that you live for some time or work for some time in a development setting. Now, development has traditionally meant the global south, but increasingly we understand that there are many settings where development, so improvement of welfare at a very rapid rate, is required basically everywhere. There are many places in the United States and Europe and Japan and so forth that require a high degree of development. And so wherever it is, those environments that you're aiming as a development economist to contribute to are going to be hugely complex because they are the real world. And so going and appreciating exactly how people interact, how they make decisions, what it is that drives them, motivates them, makes them tick, why it is that we tell the stories we do in that space, are all things you can only really get if your everyday is just experiencing exactly those things. So how do we tell a story about feeling some degree of sadness, feeling upset, if we don't ourselves experience that upset in that setting and see how people advise us, respond to us? How do we know how people celebrate if we aren't there when a spontaneous celebration occurs? And then we can observe, well, actually it's these moments that we get a window into really understanding that's how this community celebrates, and so forth. And if it's not how we deal with the hardest things in life and the best things in life and everything in between, is that not the core of economics? Visiting for short periods gives you some of that, and you can certainly do a lot of reading and listening and thinking to allow you an appreciation. But we are just bounded in how much we can understand without really immersing ourselves there. And so to be that good development economist, for some part of your life, you need to basically be confronting the same challenges, or at least be with people who are confronting those challenges, and try to muddy your way through. That really starts to sketch out, thinking about the economics now, specifically what that constraint that it is that they're trying to resolve is. What is the most difficult of the many constraints? What's the one that seems to bind most? And then drawing into your great wealth of economics, you can then pass more clearly in between one model and another, or some interaction of models. If you try to curate your own experience of a place, you take a holiday there and you try to really understand it, well, then that's better than going without that intention. But you're still going to filter the world through your eyes to a high degree. By living somewhere, you give power to the place to start to loosen how much you can curate in your everyday life. When your car breaks down, or when someone's best friend cheats on them, it's you that's there in the midst of it, seeing how things actually work, getting underneath the bits that you would have curated and visited and seen. And that's where the kind of nuts and bolts of economics really is, because it's about not how people say they'll respond to challenges and to opportunities, but how they actually respond. And so all this says it's going to be very hard for you to curate, to identify the key features of a community, society, or setting without immersing yourself and giving over the power to that society and setting to teach you.